Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So I want to say right up front, guys, this is not a video I'm particularly excited about making. In fact, I was originally not planning to talk about this new Tim Shieff news when I first heard about it a few days ago. But as the news sat with me for a few days, I felt that if I had remained silent, I would somehow be complicit in Tim's heinous plans, because he needs to hear some sensible advice from a sensible person. And if you're not already familiar with Tim's situation, he was vegan for about 6 years. He recently quit, citing various health problems that were caused, in his perspective, from eating a vegan diet. But many of us have discussed ad infinitum is probably his more extreme trendy practices that he was following, such as drinking his and other people's urine for 2 years, or 35-day water fast, extended stints at raw diets, even staring at the sun to try to absorb nutrients or some kind of energy from the sun. So anyway, let's get back to where we're at right now with Tim. And let me get my phone here so I can quote his words exactly, because remember when he quit being vegan, he said he felt like he was healed when he had some salmon or eggs or both. And I thought for sure Tim would just kind of either heal himself on those if those did make him feel better and eventually come back to veganism, or just stay with those occasional animal products. But it's kind of strange how he's not the only recent former vegan who said they're just going to eat like fish or eggs, and then a few weeks or months later they're eating cows. Like, I thought you wanted to cure your symptoms, which you said were cured by fish, and why now eating cows? So Tim now is happily eating cows, it seems, because he wants to take it to a whole nother level, though. He wants to actually kill an animal with his own hands. He says here, "I do feel like the next stage for me is to kill an animal for myself. I've really got to face this." And if that's not enough to shock you, Tim seems to now believe that eating grass-fed cows is vegan. He says, "I think a cow, grass-fed, could be the most vegan product in terms of food because one animal could sustain someone for 3 months." Well, sorry to state the obvious here to you guys, but under no definition of veganism does it say it's vegan to eat cows, as long as they are grass-fed. I mean, veganism is against all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals for food and other purposes. So this goes against the complete essence of veganism. It doesn't matter if it's grass-fed or local. And I bring up local because Tim says he will gladly eat steak as long as that steak is sourced from a local cow. Again, how does that make it any more ethical or moral if the meat came from a grass-fed cow that lives right next door to you? It's still killing a cow. So let's get back to Tim's whole notion here that he feels like this next stage for him as a meat eater is to kill an animal himself, something he feels he has to face and confront. And I want to be the first to tell you, Tim, no, this is not something that you have to do. In fact, it's something I'm telling you that you must not do. You've done a bunch of really, just like I said, extreme radical things, drinking urine for 2 years, staring at the sun and all this. Just stop it now. Stop your series of extreme practices here before you do something that you're going to regret for your whole life. You're talking about horrifically killing an animal by yourself, slitting its throat, letting it bleed out, however you want to kill it. It's going to be horrific. It's going to scar you for life. This is not something that you have to do for the next stage of your life. Killing an animal that has a mother that wants to live like you, to have the ability to live a fulfilling life, but you want to cut it short to satisfy some selfish need that you have now. Who knows where you got this idea from? But Tim, I'm just imploring you, just stop it here. The craziness stops now. Yeah, I fully get it. When vegans hear news like this, it's, a pretty much natural reaction to get extremely upset and go on a mean tirade response. So what I'm asking you guys to do is take a deep breath and try to get your level-headed, calm, rational minds together and leave some advice down in the comments for Tim as to why he should not do this. Make this sort of like a petition of sorts, of people explaining why this is not a good idea. Even though we may not be in agreement with him leaving veganism, at least tell him why that this idea of his latest notion is just probably the worst one he's ever had. So let him know down below how you feel. And until next time, guys, remember, this goes out to you, Tim. It really doesn't suck being vegan.